Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, Anita Finley.
Of course, you've heard Jim Hansen before, and he has his partner, Larry Weaver, here. This is called Seniors Helping Seniors. That's a lovely idea, Jim and Larry. Seniors helping seniors. They were supposed to help each other all the time anyway, right?
Absolutely. It's just a simple idea with a powerful message, because we love our seniors. First of all, Larry and I are advocates for seniors, and second, we're businessmen. So I think that's one of the things that we like to talk about, is that we might not be able to do it all, but we do give our all.
Well, Larry, that's very interesting, because there are a lot of people I've met who are business people first, and secondly, they're seniors.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that's a big part of what separates us from, our competition, which is quite numerous, obviously. But one of the things that we do when we're even taking an inquiry about becoming a franchise partner with us is we don't send any financial information. We don't ask for any until we've had at least 3 phone calls with them, excuse me, and we're satisfied that they're doing this for the right reason. It's heart first and business second. Don't get me wrong. We got to make sure that they can pay their bills, and my wife is looking very forward to retiring here in the near future, but we want to make sure that they're motivated to make sure they keep our seniors as their highest priority.
And both of you, and I know you know as well as I do, when someone cares about seniors. It's just their whole attitude. It's different. They treat them with respect. But if you don't treat people with respect, you're never going to get the respect either.
That's right. I mean, one of the things we talk about is if you don't have the right heart, as soon as you sit down with a senior and their family to start doing services, they're going to identify really quick if you're there to help make their lives better or if you're there for a transaction.
Yeah, that's true. And when I met Jim, it was obvious. He just has this look on his face. He's just, I know he's going to probably be annoyed when I say it's like angelic.
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 Oh. Wow, did you hear that, my wife?
No, but you are. Of course, you have your dogs. I just knew that you were. This was good. But I wanted to go back to something. We keep talking about those people who are seniors. I mean, I'm a senior. I have to assume you are a senior if you're over 65.
Well, I'm not quite there yet,
okay.
But I'm pushing it.
Okay, well, all of us are pushing it. And we're over, I can't tell anymore. People tell me that they're 70, that they're 80. I can't even say that. I don't know. It's like people don't really show their age anymore.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I was just watching, the Today Show with Willard Scott and his Smucker's jars with these people that are over 100. And I got to tell you, they're looking younger and younger every year that I watch. So you're absolutely right. I think we're staying younger, and we're taking care of ourselves more, and it makes a difference.
I think part of that, Jim, might be the fact that you're not as far away from them as you used to be.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And we just had our Big Cure Symposium, which is cutting edge medicine, and one of our stars, and he'll be on at 7:30. The doctor is really big into stem cells, and if you could imagine what's on the forefront of stem cells, so you're going to be in business a long time, because we're going to have a lot of people living with less disease, but people are still going to they haven't figured out about the cognitive impairment yet.
Right.
And so, in fact, Ken Dykewald, who's the leading gerontologist probably in the United States, if not more, he's been writing great articles. In fact, we're going to start putting a series of them in Boomer Times. And what he says is, yes, because of the technology, we're all going to be living longer. We're going to be able to move around. But unfortunately, unless they figure out what to do about Alzheimer's or dementia, you're going to have a lot of very healthy people not knowing even where they are.
Yep.
And that's where your company is so important. I mean, you look at the people, and you know this better than most people. They look great, but they can't figure out if they're supposed to eat breakfast, if they already ate breakfast, if they need a ride, how are they going to go somewhere? And that's really what makes your business so important.
It is. And, technology can be helpful today. and one of the things I wanted to share, and I'm going to have Larry also share a little bit about our franchise opportunity and how we go through that development section. But one of the things that we just came up with is when we go to, especially down here in Florida, Anita, a lot of our seniors, their family is not here. So, the biggest problem in the United States today is isolationism with our seniors. They most, nationally, I think that most of our seniors are inhabit, matter of fact, 1 out of 4 households in the U.S. are seniors living by themselves. And
I didn't realize that.
There's over 10 million elderly right now that are over the age of 65 living alone in this country. And so one of the things that we came up with is we have specialty packages that we put together. But one of the things, like Larry said, when we go down and we sit with a family, we're really trying to make a difference. And so we have this Family Connect program. And so what we do is first we create a schedule so that we set up calls and, so that our function is to how can we make it that the loved ones are staying in communication with their loved ones. So we'll set up a schedule so that children and relatives can program calls to make sure that they're there. And then there's neat things. Like one of the things that we can do if they have a computer with a camera is we can do virtual dinners.
I'm just looking at that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So that, when the loved one sits down to have dinner, the computer's set up with a camera, and they can have dinner with the family, even if the family is up in New York. And then that's what technology can do today. And then we have a couple of other things. There's a neat program out there called Sevia Digital Frame, which we all love photos of our family. This is set up so that with today's iPhones and the technology, you take a picture and you send it, and it automatically populates on this device in the senior's home so that they can see recent pictures over the weekend, and it holds 50 at a time. So boom, 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 it keeps going. And
so let me ask Larry something, because this is the big thing with technology. Okay, will you do it for us, though? We can't do it ourselves.
Absolutely.
That's the beauty of these programs is you don't have to be computer savvy to make it work.
Yeah.
Because, they have all this. In fact, I just bought a Roku.
Yes.
I'm sorry, it's not working.
It's not.
And I've done everything. I had the guy on for 2 hours from Roku, and he still couldn't make it work with my television. So
I'll come over.
It's
Jim's
something
got his
to do
working
with
well.
my server. You have to change my server, and I'm not changing my server.
Well, it could be where your server is located, and
All I can tell you, though, going back to this program is fabulous. I love the virtual family meals, but you set everything up.
Yeah, if they have Wi-Fi in their house and a computer, we can do a lot of things. And even if they don't have a computer, there's a product out there called Presto. And it's Presto emails, so that they don't even have to have a computer in their house. They plug it into their phone line, and this machine, you can send emails, you can send pictures. So, and all of a sudden, it automatically prints out the email to the family member. So if you go to a play and you write up the play, you could send the email, and mom or dad down here can get it. And then if you want to spend big bucks, not huge bucks, but under $1,000, there's this new TV out there that's a smart TV called Independa. And that virtually connects families to their loved ones. So that if you're up in New York, you can actually program into that TV while they're watching their favorite show, Mom, don't forget to take your medicine.
I love this.
So there's lots of different things out there, and why not embrace some of the technology that's there to make our seniors' lives that much easier?
Okay, so live from Boca Raton, I'm Anita Finley, and I have wonderful guests here, Jim Hansen and Larry Weaver. They're the franchisors of Seniors Helping Seniors, and their phone number to call for more information is 561-392-4846. Again, that's 561-392-4846. 392-4846. Okay, Larry, I want to get down to business, though. So now we have a lot of people who've maybe retired early. They hate it. They don't want to be retired. They can't afford to be retired. They want to get into a business, and they don't know what business to get in. Why should they get into seniors, helping seniors, if they do love seniors? That's the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, our average franchise partner is anywhere from mid-50s to early 60s when they start the business, because just as you said, Anita, they've already had their career, if you will. They've been from the corporate world, and we get so many people that call, and we're getting even more people calling that are in their 40s now who are saying, you know, I've been selling insurance products even to seniors, and it used to be so fulfilling because you helped solve a problem with them, and now we hear them say, it's what have you done for me lately? You know, it doesn't matter how many you helped last quarter. You know, you got a new quota to meet or whatever, and it's just not fun for them anymore. And they're road warriors, and they're just tired of it. So they will call us up or send in, you know, an inquiry on our email. And as I mentioned earlier, we start with a phone call. You know, we've got some people that will say, I want that sent to me email-wise, you know, before I talk to anybody. And we won't do it, okay? This entire business is about relationships. It's about relationships between our caregivers and our clients and their families. It's about relationships between our caregivers and our franchise partners. And it's about relationship between our franchise partners and Jim and I and our organization. So we've got to make sure that their heart's in the right place to start with. We start with three different phone calls. We do start sending them a little information in between. Our fourth step is called an open house. We're having one of those today with a lovely couple down from Seminole County that are interested in becoming franchise partners. And so we're going to be with them about 5 or 6 hours, and we're going to go through all our systems and our tools and everything that Seniors Helping Seniors has to offer to operate your business. And then after that, we go through. That's really when we know if it's right or not. When we're done with that meeting, we know if we're going to be talking to them again or not. And we're pretty good at that because we don't invite anybody to those open houses. Okay.
Well, the other thing I was thinking about, and I know so much about Jim, but not so much about you, Larry. So did you have grandparents that you were close to or loved, and did you feel something then?
You know, it was more about my parents because I was adopted before I was born. My mother was, I was born from an unwed mother, and they made arrangements to adopt me out before I was even born. And so my parents were almost 40 when they got me. And so when Jim called me about Seniors Helping Seniors, my father had recently passed, and my mother was down here, doing the snowbird thing, and she had a fall, and we had her checked out, but what we didn't know is she had pinched a nerve in her back. And so she ended up in rehab down here. I was living in Indiana running my other business, and so I'm getting updates every day in one ear about my mom. I'm getting Jim telling me in the other ear about Seniors Helping Seniors, and I'm thinking, I'm one of millions of these situations. And so as we started looking into it, it just made all the sense in the world. And so that was back in 2009, and we've been operating most of the Florida area since then and developing more and more franchise partners. And there's still opportunities, a few on the West Coast in Pinellas and Sarasota County, and a few in Broward. There's opportunities still in Daytona and Orlando, but all the places I did not mention, they're gone, and they're going fast.
Well, and I can understand why, because, a lot of people really, and it's a whole saying, as one ages, people want to be fulfilled. And so I'm talking now about people looking for businesses. As you said, they have done their thing, but now as they're aging, they're saying, okay, I want to make a difference.
Absolutely.
And I want to make money. Mm-hmm. And so Jim has been perfect at this, telling me, and both of you being in the other business together. Are we allowed to say that?
Sure.
Subway?
Sure.
That you were very successful there. And this is such a juxtaposition from Subway.
It is.
But you both had personal experiences, and that's what makes this so important.
Yeah, and it's very, the point that Larry was bringing up, Anita, was one of the reasons why we chose to get involved again in a national franchise, because of the snowbirds down here. We want to make sure that they're being taken care of when they go home. So we have Seniors Helping Seniors all throughout the country. So many of our clients that we take care of as snowbirds here When we're done with them, we send them back home, and Seniors Helping Seniors takes care of them up north. So it's a way for us to ensure that loving, caring, compassionate service takes place not only down here, but wherever they live. So we're in 200. We've got 250 locations now, and there's 40 states that we're in. So it is continuing to grow, and we're in 3 countries. We're in Italy, we're in the UK, and we're here in the United States. So it's a dream come true.
Yeah, and like you said, Anita, the people that come to us looking for the business, the ones that are right for it, they've had experiences with their own grandparents, as you said, or even great-grandparents. Many of them grew up in a household that, grandma and grandpa were there. And that doesn't happen anymore. No. Not much. I mean, some. But,
but you're right.
And they're looking for something that makes them feel good at the end of the day. You lay your head on the pillow and you know that you've helped families have peace of mind that mom or dad is better taken care of and observed. And
I want to tell you something about that, but let me just give people information. Go to their website, which is seniorshelpingseniors.com. Seniorshelpingseniors.com. It's a great name. It's so clear. It says just what it does. And if you want to make a phone call for more information, 561-392-4846. Now remember, we're talking about a possibility of becoming a franchisee, but we're also talking about 2 things. If you need the help, you can call that number and they will make arrangements with you. Or if you want to be a helper, because we've got 3 things going here this morning, right?
Absolutely.
1, 2, and 3. That's what makes this so exciting. And if you want to be a volunteer, paid volunteer, because you really do have empathy, you really care about the seniors, and yet you're bored with your life and you just want to do something and have a meaningful life, this is for you. So let's and one thing you advertise is 2 free hours of service.
That's right. Yeah, if you call us, we'll arrange for every 10 hours that gets booked, 2 of those, for the first 10, we'll give 2 free. And the other thing is, we'll guarantee that you're going to be happy with the provider that we send to help out. And again, being independent doesn't mean you have to do it yourself. Being independent means that you can ask for help and still be in control of that help. And if you look at the article that I wrote this month in Boomer Times, one of the beautiful things about experience is that it never grows old. It just gets better. As years go by, our experience help us. That's called wisdom. And wisdom comes with age and learning. And that's why our seniors match up so well to help our other seniors. And it's not really a helper. Think of it out there, folks, as a personal assistant. Okay, we all wanted personal assistant as we get up. I mean, I'd love one today.
I would too, wouldn't you, Larry? Let's go. Make my meal.
There you
Come
go.
Make me lunch, right?
Yes, that's
hey,
right.
Drive to the cleaners. I need this. Get my medicine for me, right?
You got it.
The other beauty too of how we do this, Anita, is we don't use people as our providers. Our caregivers that are doing this for the money. Our perfect caregiver, we call them providers, are someone that has a volunteer heart that doesn't mind being paid for it.
I love that. I know Jim said that before. Mm-hmm. That is true. And, that's a nice thing. And they can work as much or as little as they want, right?
Yes,
You just
absolutely.
book that.
Yes.
Well, so my question is, let's talk about some of the things that a person would be able to get. We were joking in a way, but let's say someone said to you, well, I want someone to come today for 4 hours. Mm-hmm. I need this. I need to be driven. And could they come for 3 hours? I mean, what's the minimum amount that people could come?
Usually 3 hours we find is, we can work with anybody, but, 3 hours typically is because what we try to do, Anita, is we try to bundle our services so that you get the best value for the time that we're there. I'll give you an example. And I think I've shared this before, but let's say we're taking you to the doctor's. Well, first what we'll do is we'll come to your home, we'll strip your bed, we'll take your linens, we'll get your towels and your sheets, and we'll put them in the washing machine. And we'll start doing the wash, and then we'll take you to the doctor's. Now, we just don't take you to the doctors like a cab and drop you off. We go in, we advocate on your behalf. If the doctor isn't paying attention to you, we'll be knocking on that receptionist window and saying, when are you going to see Sally? We've been waiting here for 20 minutes. She's got better things to do. If the family permits us, we will go in with Sally to listen to what the doctor has to say, because sometimes it's a little confusing, and doctors tend to sometimes, although your next guest, Dr. Mencia, is very good at putting it into layman's terms, but most doctors don't, because they have to spend all that money to learn those big words, and then we get confused by them. But we'll then be able to at least explain to the family what exactly the doctor had to say. This prescription was changed. This is the new way that it has to be taken. Now we can go, what do? We take them to the pharmacy after that. We pick up the new prescription. We might stop by the grocery store and pick up a couple of days worth of fresh food, because many times we go into somebody's home and we find curdled milk, things that are not safe, and we clean those out. And then when we get back to the house, we take the clothes out of the washing machine, we throw it in the dryer, we prepare the meal, get a couple of meals prepared for the next couple of days and put them in the refrigerator so they're easy to prepare.
Stop, Jim. I want one. No, come on, Jim. Where do I sign up? No, I think maybe, wait. I think we now have to change. You have to have another company. It's called Boomers Helping Boomers, or Seniors Helping Boomers.
Absolutely.
That's it. We've got a new company. I mean, I want everything you've said. I know exactly. I'm being funny, but
you can see how we can get a lot accomplished in a very short period of time.
Yep.
And now we've got our senior taken care of, and they've got food in the refrigerator, and we don't have to come back for another couple of days. And then we can do the whole thing all over again.
This is it. This is the business. And that both of you, it's funny, years ago, you would have been women sitting here. You would no, I mean that. You wouldn't have been men. And I know that from experience. It was always the women with the nurses. It was the caregivers were usually women. And for me to sit here with two terrific men feeling the way you do I'm in awe. I'm just in awe of both of you, and I have to share my appreciation.
Well, thank you. It really was for me, and I think I've shared this, but I had such a special bond with my grandmother, and I did all the things that we do at Seniors Helping Seniors, and I saw the joy on my grandmother's face when her grandson would walk in the door, and I realized with my grandmother, if I said, "Gram, I'll be back in a couple of days," that's all she needed. She knew that I was going to be back in a couple of days. She looked forward to that. And we see the same thing with our clients. When the caregiver says, "I'll see you and Sally in a couple of days," Sally's fine for those couple of days because she knows that Mary's going to be there again to take care of the things that she may not enjoy doing anymore, but she still needs done. A lot of people, they've got torn rotator cuffs. They can't change the sheets the way they used to. We'll go in and we'll organize your closets. So if you've got your winter clothes, we'll take down your winter clothes, put those up, put your summer clothes away, although this summer doesn't seem to want to end.
and Anita, we will take care of people that are not named Sally also. So Jim's only talked about Sally here.
No, I know. But wait, I want to just keep talking about this because I think it's so important. The people, though, and you know yourself that there are many agencies where they just send anybody. One day it's Mary, one day it's Sally, one day it's Jim. But Larry, if you have Sally coming to my house for me, will I get Sally again?
We really encourage and try to make sure we keep the same caregivers as much as we can, depending on how many hours a week that they need help. We may have to have 2 or 3, but it's the same 2 or 3 because unlike our competition, a lot of times we encourage that relationship to build because especially with the impairment that's out there, they get comfortable with knowing who they're having help them. And that's very important. And, another thing that when you talk about the technology today, we're bringing in a new client management software system for our franchise partners to use, and it has a family portal section that the families can go into. They can't get into all of it, but they can go in and they can see updates that we put in about their parents or their mom or their aunt or their uncle, whoever it is, and so that they can see if there's been any change, either good or bad. So that's a great thing too, so that we can keep them informed.
Yeah, and let me add one more thing, because I think and I think Dr. Mencia will validate this. The caregiver, if we keep that same caregiver, they are a wonderful resource for doctors to be able to say, hey, here's the changes that I've seen, and this is what I've been seeing going on, and that is great insight for that particular
It's
doctor.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we just had a situation, Jim. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, when one of our caregivers probably saved the life of our client.
Absolutely, we knocked on the door. There was no answer. Fortunately, our caregiver had the code to the garage door. She walked in, and our client was passed out on the floor. And if we hadn't gone there, that woman would have lost her life. We called 911. We got her to the hospital, and then just to show you the type of care, that caregiver went unpaid and visited her numerous times in the hospital.
I have goosebumps when I listen to what you do. Well, I felt that way when I met you, Jim, and Larry, with your business acumen. See, that's what's happening here, and I'm listening to all this new software and the things you're doing. You're mixing compassion and caring with smart business, and that's what makes anybody who wants a franchisee. You have to be very careful if you want to be a franchisee, which franchise you go to, because there are a lot out there. There are a lot trying to pull your money from you. But first of all, you have to really care about the older adults. If that happens, that's number one. Then number two, of course, and it's not an expensive franchise to get into, and I know that, but it is so fulfilling. And I keep repeating myself, and I have told this to Jim many times, if I didn't have too much to do in my business, maybe if you bring me people to help me, I could then become a franchisee, right? But this is the business I would be in, because I care about seniors. I think that they need a friend, and that's what you're doing. You're providing friends with knowledge.
Well, Anita, one of our trademarks is do good and make money.
Oh, it is true. Do good and make money. A lot of people want to do that, and they don't know how. Yeah. So they can just call this 561-392-4846, 561-392-4846. By the way, if you miss this show and you want to send this to someone, it will be on YouTube, and you'll be able to hear it again under Boomer Times Presents. And Larry, it was great having you on the show today.
Oh, I enjoyed it very much.
Right.
It's always good to see
and
you.
if people don't want to call,
you.
they can go to our website, which is www.seniorshelpingseniors.com.
Seniorshelpingseniors.com. Thank you very much, and we look forward to having you on again.
Always a pleasure.
New stories.